Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I will tell you a story on a horror carnival. Wear headphones for better experience. The Carnival of Lost Souls. The town wasn't supposed to exist. That was the traveler's first thought as the car rolled to a stop at the edge of the road, engine ticking softly under a sky soaked in red. The moon hung low and swollen, the color of dried blood pressed against the stars. It felt close enough to touch, close enough to watch. The road behind them was gone. Not blocked, not hidden by fog. Gone. In its place stood a wooden sign, splintered and leaning, as if it had grown there rather than been placed. Marrow Glen. Population, enough. The traveler laughed uneasily and stepped out of the car. The air smelled of damp earth and old smoke. Somewhere in town, a bell rang once, slow, deliberate. Lights flickered on down the main street. Shops opened their doors as if on cue. A diner, a general store, a chapel with stained glass windows depicting smiling figures with hollow eyes. Every building looked recently used, yet deeply abandoned, like a memory replayed too many times. No one was outside. Then the posters appeared. They weren't being hung. They were simply there, on walls, on trees, on the side of the diner window the traveler could have sworn was blank seconds earlier. Faded reds, peeling gold trim, a painted carnival tent beneath a crimson moon. The Carnival of Lost Souls, one night only, under the blood moon. At the bottom, barely legible, no refunds, no exits. The travelers should have left. Instead, curiosity took hold, thick and insistent, like a hand at the small of the back, guiding them forward. The ticket booth stood where the road ended, lantern lights swaying gently, though there was no wind. Inside sat a man so thin he looked folded rather than seated. His smile revealed too many teeth. "One ticket," the traveler said. The man studied them for a long moment. "You're early." "For what?" "For being missed." He slid the ticket across the counter. The paper was warm, almost damp. The moment the traveler took it, the bell rang again. Closer. The carnival grounds unfolded impossibly large, spreading beyond the edge of town, like a wound that refused to close. Tents rose in layered rings, lanterns floating above them like trapped fireflies. Music drifted through the air, slow and warped, notes stretching unnaturally long. The audience was already seated, hundreds of them. They filled the stands in perfect silence. Families, couples, lone figures. Their faces were pale, eyes glassy, mouths slack in expressions that might once have been anticipation. The traveler found an empty seat. It accepted them. The moment they sat down, the world seemed to lock into place. The air thickened. Movement felt discouraged. The show began without announcement. A woman stepped into the ring and bent backward until her spine folded into a shape no human should survive. The crowd applauded on cue. A man swallowed fire, flames licking his teeth, while tears streamed silently down his cheeks. A clown stumbled and laughed and laughed and laughed until his laughter dissolved into choking sobs. The traveler noticed something then. None of the performers blinked. Their smiles were stretched too far, their movements precise but empty, like something wearing people instead of being them. The applause came again, perfectly timed, late, like an echo remembering itself. Then the ringmaster emerged. He wore a coat the same deep red as the moon, buttons shaped like staring eyes. His cane tapped the ground once, and the music died. "Welcome," he said, voice smooth and intimate, "to the Carnival of Lost Souls." His gaze swept the crowd and stopped on the traveler. A pause, a smile. How rare, he murmured. The traveler clapped before realizing what they were doing. The sound rang out, sharp and alone. Every head in the audience turned toward them. The ringmaster's smile widened, a live one. At intermission, the traveler tried to stand. Their legs didn't respond. Panic bloomed, sharp and electric. They strained, gasped, clawed at the armrests. Nothing. The woman seated beside them turned her head slowly, joints creaking as if unused. "Don't," she whispered. "Why can't I move?" the traveler hissed. She swallowed. "Because you're still whole." "What does that mean?" Her eyes filled with tears that refused to fall. "You haven't been emptied yet." The realization came piece by piece. The audience wasn't watching for pleasure. They were stored, held, waiting. "Can we leave?" the traveler asked. The woman laughed softly, bitter and broken. "No one leaves unless someone takes their place." The lights dimmed. The second act began. A magician sawed himself in half, smiling serenely as blood soaked into the sawdust. A juggler tossed knives that screamed when they spun, hands shaking violently. Each time one faltered, the ringmaster watched with interest. Judgment. The traveler felt it then, a pressure behind the eyes, a sense of being evaluated. Chosen. The ringmaster raised his cane. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, "tonight we celebrate renewal." Spotlights snapped on, centered on the traveler. The audience erupted into applause, louder than before, desperate and hungry. The ringmaster approached, holding something white and gleaming. A mask, painted in carnival colors, smiling, empty-eyed. "You feel it, don't you?" he said gently. "The pull, the call to be useful." "I won't," the traveler whispered, though the words felt thin. "Oh, but you will," the ringmaster replied. "Everyone does." Behind him, the performers lined up. One of them, a juggler with trembling hands, met the traveler's eyes. His mouth formed a single word: "Run." Invisible restraints tightened. The ringmaster pressed the mask closer. "You may take your place in the ring," he said softly, "or remain here until there's nothing left of you to take." The mask smelled of old sweat and forgotten names. As it touched their face, something inside the traveler tore loose. Not flesh, not bone, but identity. Memories blurred, fear softened, resistance drained away like water through cracks. The juggler collapsed behind them, finally free, his body hitting the ground like an empty costume. The audience roared. When the ringmaster stepped back, a new performer stood in the ring, mask freshly painted, smile wide and permanent. The traveler's hands lifted. They bowed, and under the blood-red moon, the carnival of lost souls continued, always in need of just one more willing replacement.